A few years ago, I kind of realised that, yeah, I'm going to die one day. Everyone's going to die, but it feels so far away. You don't question it. You don't think, oh, I should probably hop out of bed today and do something with my life because next week I could be in a coffin. People don't think like that, like really think like that, unless you get like terminally ill and then you do think like that. I was riding my bike one day and there was this old man on the other side of the road, and I started riding across the road and he just fell over on the ground, and I was like, whoa. So I rode up to him and said, are you okay? And I helped him up. And he said to me, oh, do you know where Sally's house is? I'm trying to find Sally's house. And I said, oh, no, I'm sorry. Do you know where she lives? I don't know who you're talking about. And he's, oh, she used to live around here. I don't know where she is anymore. And I thought, oh, okay. And he had blood on his knees and his hands were bleeding and that because he was a really old guy. Like, he looked like he was about 90 years old. I don't know what he was doing walking around the streets. And a few cars pulled up, and I don't know whether or not they thought that I hit him with my bike and that's why I was standing near him, or if I just... And this one woman goes, oh, he'll come with me, I'll take him where he needs to go. And I just thought, where was he going? Like, what was he trying to find, and who was he? And some part of that element must have given me a spark for 41. Like, why is there an old guy trying to find this girl's place in the suburbs? And that idea of just like, sort of when you lose someone, maybe someone that you love or whatever the idea is, I like the idea that maybe there's another parallel world where that did work out and you guys did go off in the sunset sort of thing, like at the end of 41. But at the same time, you have to live with the reality that that didn't happen to you. And that's kind of the heartbreak of 41, that idea that you've got one chance, and if you mess it up, you don't get another chance. But what if somewhere else it's happening? Yeah, so I was working on... I literally wrote down 3 different script ideas. One was Cinemaphobia, one was 41. I didn't have a name for it then. It was just time travel film. And there was another one which I can't remember. And 41 seemed complicated, and I thought, I'll leave that. I don't know that well enough yet to be thinking about that. And so, yeah, finished Cinemaphobia and thought, I was talking to some friends one night and they're like, oh, what are you working on? I said, oh, well, I've got this idea it's for a time travel film. It's about a guy, he goes to a motel, he goes back in time. And then I just remembered all the notes that I wrote down, and I'm like, well, this happens, and he's trying to save her, but he can't because he's the one that stopped himself, and it all sort of started enveloping on top of each other. And then I thought, I should probably make it. I should probably finish the actual script, so I did.
And while I'm messing around with trying to get films going and umming and ahhing like most filmmakers, Glenn rocks up, with a completed script. I'm thinking, fuck. So I said, all right, what is it? And yeah, he tells me the story of 41, the time travel. And instantly intrigued, because his films are always dealing with, if it's not horror, supernatural, science fiction, it's always something more than the bland, drama, bland suburban drama that most filmmakers around try to do.
I loved it. It's exactly the kind of film I wanted to make, but I never had an idea like that. So when I got that script, I was like, that's cool. I want to work on that.
What happened is I heard about a thing called the Cold Reading Series, and it was a group of people that got together and they read scripts.
I run an event called the Cold Reading Series where we get unproduced screenplays and plays, and Glenn sent through 41 and I read it over the period of like a week, and we made an exception. Normally we do parts of it, but I thought if we do this film in parts, nobody's going to understand it.
I was at the Cold Reading Series reading of it. It was actually the first cold reading series I ever went to, and that was the script I heard, so it was kind of like, whoa. The script got read out and it was strange. It was just like this really weird moment of hearing the script and thinking, okay, cool, like that works, that doesn't work, that's ridiculous, and that's awesome.
Aiden runs inside room 41. There are ambulance personnel attending to patient X on the motel bed as he lies unconscious.
It was good, actually. We had a lot of comments and feedback at the end, and we got Glenn to get up and talk about other stuff that he'd done beforehand.
2 weeks after that, we were casting. Like that's what kicked it off. Like the script was sitting there for a couple of weeks.
A week later, he's casting and everything. I'm like, fuck.
To be honest, I didn't read the script. I felt that was outside my job description. It might have helped a bit because I spent most of the film shoots fairly confused as to what was actually happening, especially since it was happening out of order.
I got an email from my agent saying that she had been contacted by Glenn, and yeah, I read the script and got back to Glenn within a couple of hours. And that was pretty, Glenn was surprised to hear from me.
It's funny. I never actually told her that we'd broken up.
Glenn had put an ad up for cast members for this film, for 41. That was it, I applied for that.
Time travel is mysterious. Its existence alone wouldn't make sense.
My audition obviously went well in the end, but getting to the audition location was a bit of a struggle, and thank goodness for Google Maps, because I was running late. I got lost. I took a wrong turn off, so when I got to the director's house, I came in rather flustered, and it was all very, very quick. I just sat in the chair and we started, but there wasn't really much time to breathe. It was straight in the door and start. That happens next.
Fascinating, because I walked into a room with a whole lot of people I didn't know, which is what you normally do. But I sat down with Glenn and a couple of the other actors, and we just ran it. And that was actually the audition. We didn't even do a dry run, so it was great actually, because often the first thing you do is better than that.
Your great-grandmother had diabetes, there's cancer in the family, and baldness too, and even the men.